So I've not done this before, so this is completely new to me. So, giving you a chance, let's see, let's talk about when I was a very young child. When I was a very young child, I've mentioned this before in my videos about having weird dreams and really realistic dreams, waking up and still feeling the emotions and stuff from having the dreams. Now, basically, this started when I was 3. Yeah, 3. And at the time, I was living in Boscombe, and we were living in a council property. And I was in the little small pink room at the front of the house. It wasn't until a lot later that my parents realised that maybe what was triggering the actual dreams was what they uncovered when they went to redecorate the house, and it frightened them to death because my parents were very, very, very religious at the time, and what they uncovered on the wall absolutely terrified them. So from a young age, it all first started when I actually saw a Native American stood at the end of my bed, dressed in full warrior gear. I can remember what he was wearing to this day. He was wearing a long green and blue robe with gold threads in it. He was carrying samurai swords. He had the samurai hat and everything. And he was just stood at the end of my bed, and I could see him clearly as I can see my reflection, my reflection in in the mirror. And that absolutely terrified me. So I went herring into my mother's bedroom and told my mum, woke her poor woman up. It was probably really early on in the morning, and I woke her up because I was screaming my head off. So woke her up, told her what I'd seen. She turned around and said, "Oh, no, nothing, don't worry about it, just a bad dream, get back to sleep." So I went back to sleep. And then during the night, I ended up seeing something else. Again, it was some form of, can't remember the second one so clearly, but again, it was still of Japanese or Chinese origin, some sort of warrior type person. And then it just kind of spiraled from there. And like every night, my mum said to me, because I had a conversation with her about this a couple of weeks ago, and she said to me, she said every single night, all she could hear was me screaming at the top of my voice, going, leave me alone, don't touch me, don't hurt me, don't attack me. And she said that also what I used to do as well as a kid is I would sit there. Now, I don't remember ever having imaginary friends. I don't even, I never saw someone or imagined someone there. But I hear voices, and I have been tested. I'm not schizophrenic. I went and saw a therapist about this probably about 4 or 5 years ago because of the voices and the seeing things and the mood changes that I have. And they said there's nothing wrong with me at all. I don't have I suffer with depression and anxiety, but that's more to do with sort of the trauma that I've witnessed over the years. And there's nothing wrong with me sort of mentally in that kind of way, so I don't need any antipsychotics. So then I was then seeing like faces in a window, but like evil faces that were like laughing at me, and there was one time that I saw an image come out of a poster. It was like just a normal image, and then this image turned into this really kind of like dark demon type of image that came out of my poster. I have seen like I saw a gold eagle over the years. When I was, I think, about 7, we were walking home from my grandparents' house, and we walked past this wooden bus shelter, and I just saw this massive white sort of image, sort of figure person in the bus shelter, and I could see they were like sitting in the bus shelter, and I could see the image, and it was a male, but it had like this massive white glow. But even though it was sort of sat on the seat, it was like floating, and nobody else saw it. No one. No one saw it at all. My brother said to me I suppose about 3 or 4 months ago, he said he thought he saw something, but not as clear as what I saw it. So there's that. There's the time where I looked out my window, I woke up, no reason at all, looked out my bedroom window and I saw my mum, my dad and my brother all leaving the house. But how can I put it? They were like see-through, if you know what I mean. They were kind of see-through. I could still see like the colour of their clothes, but they were like really see-through type thing. And I'm like banging on my window and going, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave, don't leave. So you've got to bear in mind at the time I was only 5, 6 at the time. So, you know, you're seeing this out of your bedroom window and it just absolutely terrifies you because you're like, why are they leaving? Why are they leaving? So I came out of my bedroom, flew in the bedroom next door where my mum and dad were. Nope, they were there, fast asleep. Then I walked all the way down because at the house we lived in Ashley Road, you had the small room that I was in, and then the room next to me was like a double room where my parents were in, and then there was another double room which we used to have for students. And then you'd walk down the corridor, and there's like a step down, and there would be like a toilet, just a toilet, not a sink. And then you'd step down there, walk a little bit further down the corridor, and there was the bathroom with a toilet, shower, and sink. And then at the end of the hallway was my brother's bedroom. He was in the small, long, sort of narrow, slightly bigger than my room. Mine was like a box, and his was sort of a long box. So I went in there to see him, and he was fast asleep as well. So, you know, it's just like, you know, what the hell is going on with my head? And I just thought, you know, I would sort of get over this and it wouldn't stay with me. But like, even at my age now, and I'm a lot older now, you know, both my kids are grown up and in their 20s, so you can work out how old I am through that. I'm, you know, and even to this day, I will still have random shitty dreams that scare the crap out of me. And like I have literally notebooks and notebooks and notebooks full of the different dreams. I have seen people walk through walls, for God's sake. Do you know, and what's worse, the worst thing about it all was my parents were like really religious, like Christians, like proper hardcore Christians. So of course anything like that, of course they're like, oh, that's demonic, that's demonic, that's demonic. You're possessed, you're cursed, you need to go and be exercised and all sorts of things. And they never really sort of believed me, you know. They do sort of now, but they never sort of did. And even when I, you know, it gets worse, you know. I went to stay with a friend in Norway. This was probably about 10 years ago now. And I was in the spare room where his kids normally sleep. So I was in there. And I'm sat in the bottom bunk bed. And there's 3 people that are in my room. And I can see them clearly. You know, one was knelt down sort of the middle of the bed, another one stood right directly, another one was at the end of the bed, you know, stood in the doorway, and they were all talking to me, but they weren't talking to me in English, so I didn't understand them. And I could see them like clearly what they were wearing. And my friend heard that I was talking to somebody, and he came in and he goes, are you all right? He goes, I can hear you talking to somebody. Are you okay? Are you okay? And I said, yeah, there's 3 people in here. And he's like, no, there isn't. There's not 3 people in here. So you can imagine the impression that this has on people as well. You know, when you turn around and you say, oh, look, can you see that person over there? Oh, look, there's a person over there. Oh, did you hear that? Oh, no, what would that person say? And you hear your name called and stuff like that. But we could go on and go on because I've had many, many, many experiences of this. And that is one of the main reasons why I'm very sort of fascinated with spirits, demons, tarot cards, channeling, the other side, the dead. I'm very interested in all of that because of basically what I've been through. And we don't know, but when my going back to when I was a child, when I was a kid, when it first started, my parents decided they were going to actually redecorate the actual house that we were living in. And when they actually started to pull off the wallpaper, so got to remember now that my parents were very, very religious. So when they started actually pulling the wallpaper off, now if you got to remember that in the 80s, 70s, 80s, yeah, 70s, 80s, sort of 70s to early 80s to late, well, I suppose near the late 80s, cults were very, very, very popular. And from what my parents think, from what they saw on the wall, they saw all signs that were very occulty, that were all over the walls, and there was writings all over the walls, and there was like stuff on the floor, like circles and stuff on the floor. So they were actually wondering whether the actual house had actually been used as some sort of occult group had actually used it before we'd moved in, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure because it was a council house. So I don't know how that would work. But they found this all over the walls, and they think that's what triggered off all of these dreams. But I would have thought that, you know, over the years, I would have thought that by now that these dreams would have sort of gone away, and I still wouldn't actually have these dreams, and I still wouldn't see things. So I've spoken over the years. There's a massive crack across here, and after a while, that actually gives me a headache. So I have to take my glasses off. I've got a new pair coming. God, they were expensive. I've got a new pair coming, so I'll just take them off for the minute. But I have spoken to mediums. I have gone to a couple of Christian spiritualist churches over the years to try and explain it. But the problem with me is because I come from a very, very, very highly religious background. Of course, in the back of my mind, because my parents drummed it into my head that it was demonic and wrong and stuff like that. For me, I find it, you know, every time I see things or hear things and stuff like that, instantly I'm like, oh, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. I shouldn't be thinking this, I shouldn't be thinking this. So that all of my life, I've had this constant battle going on in my head. I've had people saying, well, yeah, maybe you're a spiritualist, maybe you're a medium, you know, maybe you should focus on that. But then my other side of my head is going, oh, no, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, that's evil, that's evil, that's evil. Don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. So there's this major battle going on inside my head. And I just can't, how can you put it? I can't kind of focus or kind of grip onto it. So yeah, that like started when I was 3. I'm like now an older woman and I still have it. And then to top it off, when I actually went to school, I was actually quite a major victim of bullying. I'm not exaggerating. I was a major victim of bullying. For starters, the teachers, because I was left-handed, and then when I was at school, it was coming out slowly, but at the same time they were still forcing me to use my right hand. Obviously they weren't tying it up like they used to do, but they used to put it behind my wrong hand. They'd put my left one behind my back, and they'd make me use my left hand. So of course I got really behind with all of my work because they were forcing me to use my right hand. I had one particular girl, we don't know why, I still don't know why to this day, that from day one at my infant school, junior school, she bullied me. And I'm talking about coming home with black eyes. No exaggeration, I come home with black eyes. That's how bad the bullying was with her. So I had all of that, and it was constant. I mean, constant, 24/7. So if anybody out there suffers with major random dreams, I can relate to it. And the same with anybody out there that has been bullied. I can relate to it. I know how hard it is, and I know at times that you feel that the best thing for you to do is to finish your life. No, it's not. That's not the way to go. It's kind of trying to find a way of dealing with it, distracting yourself from it, finding other things to do that stop you from doing that. And yes, it's hard. It's very, very hard. But I have managed to fight those thoughts pretty much all of my life. Sort of now I'm a lot older. No, I don't got to the point now where I really pass sort of, we're not caring, but you know, if you've got a bad opinion of me, then hey, that's you. That's your opinion. Others don't. You're all entitled to your own opinion. So, you know, what you think is what you think. And I don't think anybody should change for anybody. Too many people are put under peer pressure nowadays at school. They change so they fit in. No one should change to fit in, because that messes you up in later life when you try and change for other people. It's not worth it. It really isn't worth it, because you just lose who you are. You lose your identity, and then getting your identity back is really hard. That happened to me. You know, I became a very angry, very twisted, very messed up individual, very horrible individual, to be honest with you, with everything that went on. But in the end, I got to the point in my life where I just looked in the mirror and I went, I don't like this person. I don't like the way this person's going. I'm not going to be this person anymore. I don't want to be this person anymore. This is not me. This is not, you know, this is not the type of person that I should be. So, I struggled, but I did manage to find a way where I could be this less angry, twisted and messed up individual. I still have my bad days, don't get me wrong, and I do have my bad days, and I have days where I'm really, 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 really low and I just want to cry, but at the end of the day, I just find a distraction, be it going for a walk, be it colouring, be it playing WoW, be it watching telly. I'll do anything. I won't drink to get distraction. I won't smoke pot to get a distraction. No, that's not the way to go either. I will find other things. I even try and attempt to craft things just so I can get out of that mindset. Because once you get in that mindset, you just go down and down and down and down and down. And once you hit there, it's so hard for you to come back up. I've been there, I've done that. And once you get there, it's so hard to come back. So I had that in my infant school, my junior school. So my parents decided that we were going to move away from Boscombe. So we decided that we were going to move to Parkstone. So we moved to Upper Parkstone, which is in near Poole, Dorset. For you that don't live here in the UK, it's in the county of Dorset. So we went there, and I went to Avonbourne School for a year, but then they had to move me to a different school because Avonbourne, I don't know what the reason was, but there was a reason I couldn't stay at Avonbourne. So I got moved to another school, and I had about a year and a half where I had no bullying at all whatsoever. And then that same bloody girl, I don't know, she ended up coming to my secondary school. Honestly, it was unbelievable. Because like back in, I don't know if they still do it, but when I was at school, they used to stand at the front of the assembly and they would announce the new members that had just joined your school. And they announced this new girl that joined the school, and instantly when they said her name, I'm like, oh crap. And it started, and she did, and it went on for years and years and years. What I'm about to say is, for God's sake, don't repeat what I did. In the end, I lost it. I absolutely snapped because I couldn't handle it anymore. I snapped. I just completely lost it with her. And in the end, I actually, it's going to sound awful, but in the end, I actually wasn't actually me, funny enough. We were lined up outside to go into, I think it was our science class. And I was stood next to my friend at school, Tracy, and Jane were my two main friends at secondary school. And basically, what happened was she picked on Tracy. Don't know why, but she picked on Tracy. And I would think I was a couple of people behind Tracy. And basically, I saw that and I snapped. I completely lost it. And I literally got hold of her and I slammed her against the actual classroom door. And I mean, I slammed her against the classroom door and literally kind of threw her to the floor, and was getting ready to, continue. But luckily the teacher came along and broke it up. But bearing in mind the headmaster at the time knew what had been going on, because obviously my parents had, also my mum, had been up to the school and obviously been complaining continuously about the bullying, the fact that I'm going home with black eyes and, sprains in the wrist and bruised legs and bruises on my jaws. Never good, never good. So we all got hauled into the headmaster's office, as you do. We all got a severe telling off. And then he sort of sent the rest of the girls out and had a chat with me. And he turned around and he basically said that because of what had been going on and how long it had been going on, he didn't suspend me. I should have been suspended, but he didn't suspend me. So basically instead, I'm out of cough. He managed to get hold of not someone from, not someone from the social services, but it's basically a person that can pull you. It's to do with social in some way, but it's to do with school. I can't remember the name of it. And me, mum and dad had this meeting with this guy, and basically what they actually did in the end was they actually pulled me out of school. So I wasn't in school full time. I was only in school for like three days a week, and then the rest of the time I was learning at home, because the bullying had been going on for so long, and because of that they pulled me out of school. And that's why when I left school, I didn't actually come out of school with that many qualifications, because I wasn't there to revise. So I couldn't do any of my exams because I wasn't there. So like most of my qualifications I've got since I left school. All my care qualifications, my mental health qualifications, my wildlife and conservation qualification, my first aid, diabetics, all of those qualifications I kind of got since I've left school, because I've always been either catering, care work. That's the two main jobs that I've already done, and that's the ones I've sort of really stuck with. And I did voluntary conservation, I've done voluntary shop work, I've worked in shops before, so that's the line of work that I'm sort of, that's what I'm qualified for. So yeah, so we had all of that, but on top of that, my mum, she's okay now, but when I was a sort of late teenager, she was a bit, how can we put it politely, a little bit unstable mentally. And she kind of was, trying to take tablets to sort of overdose and stuff, and she did that for years. So on top of that, that was all going on as well as what was going on at school, and plus all the dreams. So yeah, it kind of, I'm kind of a bit of a strange individual, is basically all I can say. But after everything that I've went through, I'm still here, and I'm a very forgiving soul as well. I'm very forgiving, and I'm very supportive of my family. And to be honest with you, you know, I'm not surprised that by the time I was in my late 20s and early 30s that I was going a little bit crazy with everything that was going on. But I've managed to put myself in a good place now, but I'm still not very good with like lots of people. I prefer one-on-one, to be honest. I don't like too busy areas either. I'm sort of a lot happier at home than I am anywhere else. But I suppose what I'm trying to say is, you know, even though that I've been through all of this, and it's been very hard, and it has been very hard. What I'm trying to say is, if any of you are going through this, please don't give up. Please don't just sit there and go, no, I'm not. Everybody hates me. Nobody likes me. Nobody can be dealing with me. Please don't do that, because that's not true. It's not true. Yeah, there may be some that are general pain in the arses and don't like you, but it's not true, and it's not worth getting yourself into such a state over it all. If you are going through this, yes, I suggest maybe you get help. I've had therapy, you know, quite a few, not a lot, I suppose about 4 or 5 times I've had therapy to discuss it, and each time they've all said that, you know, I'm just a little bit messed up, just a little bit scarred through what I've been through, but I'm not unstable. And there'll be a lot of people out there that have been through similar to me, and they think that they're unstable. But don't be frightened to go and talk to somebody. Don't be scared to go and talk to somebody. If you don't want to go to a therapist, find a friend, someone that you trust, someone that has been through, you know, similar to what you've been through, but is willing to listen. That's the big thing, is having someone to listen. It doesn't matter if you know, at the end of the day, if you listen, they don't remember. Maybe some goes in, some doesn't go in. It's just having somebody there, talk to somebody, open up to somebody. Don't just quit and just go, no, stuff it. I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to give up. Everybody hates me. Nobody loves me. Don't do that. Been there, done that, tried that. It's not worth it. It really isn't worth it, because people do love you. A lot of the time, people don't understand you, and because they don't understand you, they get scared, and because they get scared, they get angry. But a lot of it is because they don't understand, and they're not willing to listen. And this was my parents. They weren't willing to listen. It wasn't until I was sort of in my 20s and my kids were little, and I sort of spoke to my parents. They were more willing to listen to me when I was in my 20s than they were when I was a teenager. So, you know, like I said, I am scarred. Yes, it will stay with me for the rest of my life. But at the end of the day, don't turn into a nasty person either, and don't try and do the easy way out, because that's not going to work either. There will be somebody out there that will listen and will talk to you, and you will get over it. You will not get over it, but you will learn to control it. You will learn to control it. And you will have your good days and your bad days, because I have my good days and bad days, but you will overcome it. Don't, you know, when they send you to these happy clappy bloody, oh, it's just in your head, it will go away. No. You know, the pain is in your head, you're imagining it. No, it'll go away, it will go away. Piffle. It doesn't go away. You just learn. You learn to live with it. You learn to control it. I'm sick to death, to be honest with you, with all my like back problems. As you know, I've got chronic back problems. I went to so many happy clappy groups. Oh, it's all in your head, don't worry about it. Just go home, just lie down, do this, do that. And I just honestly, I felt like turning around and saying to the bloke, what if I punch you between the ghoulies? Is that all in your head? Yeah. Because a lot of them are book learners. I suppose is the way of putting it. They're book learners. And no disrespect if you're a book learner out there, but book learners, I'm sorry, unless you've physically been through it and experienced it, felt the pain, felt the trauma, how the hell can you relate? You cannot. You can't. You have to be through it to relate to it. Luckily, the house that I share, my best friend that I've known since she was like 14, she has been through crap and she's been through a lot of trauma herself. So we can relate to each other. So if she's having a bad day, I know to leave her alone. If I'm having a bad day, I know to leave her alone. And we can relate. We know about each other's, problems. We've talked about it. And at the end of the day, we'll go to each other. If things are really bad, we will go to them. I have my son comes to me a lot, because my son knows that I've been through stuff. When he's going through stuff himself, he will come to me because he knows that I will sit there and I will listen, and I will give him advice, but only the advice that I'm not a therapist. I'm not. But at the end of the day, I can only give him advice on the way how I managed to deal with it, and everybody deals with it differently. Like I said, I deal with it with distraction. Other people deal with it by going for a walk, I don't know, going to a nightclub, whatever. They deal with it a different way, but I deal it with just pure distract. So yeah, I mean, as there's a few things that I've obviously, been through, a few things that, I've seen that, it's like, oof. When you walk into situations and it's like, oof, I wish I never walked into that. But again, that can be another little chit chat. I don't know whether you call this a podcast or not, because I don't have a microphone. I could sit here and pretend I've got a microphone and I could put my headphones on. But no, I'm not going to do that. I don't see the point. I think this is more kind of laid back and more relaxed and more personal. If you're not sat there with your headphones and your microphone, you're just kind of like looking at the camera. So yeah, I mean, all I can say is don't give up. Don't quit. Just don't. Just try and find a way. Just try and find a way. At the end of the day, it's, you've got to think of the consequences of your actions, basically. And when you're low as you are low, you don't think about the consequences. You don't think about, how it's going to affect the people that you don't think that care or that you don't think that love you. It will. The consequences will. Because you've got to understand that you're not just leaving yourself, all the people that know you, all your family, all your friends that know you. How are they going to feel? How are they going to react? How are they going to deal with, the way things are? They're going to have to carry that and remember that. And they'll remember that the rest of their lives. So you've got to think about the consequences of your actions as well, and how it affects all the others around you at the same time. That helps if you can think about the consequences. But like I said, when you are low and you're down and you don't think about that, but try and think about that, and try and think about how they would feel. How would you feel if they did the same to you? How would you feel? It's another way of looking at it, as well as distraction. It's just trying to put yourself, like I said, I know it's hard because I've been there myself, but try and put yourself in their shoes, how you would feel if they did what you were thinking to do yourself. How would you feel? How would you react? That's another way. And yes, there's going to be people out there that are probably going to turn around and say, blah, 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 blah. But believe you me, I a couple of times I did think about it. And I did think about it, and I nearly did it a couple of times. One time I did hurt myself, but at the end of the day, I stopped myself because I thought about how the other people would feel if I did, and that helped me. And then I told myself off, and I said to myself, why? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Because, it's not, it's not worth it. It really isn't. So, yeah, I don't know if a lot of this stuff that I've been through my childhood actually has a lot to do with my completely and utterly random dreams. I mean, I'm talking about, where I will dream that I'm in a restaurant on a table with 2 or 3 other people, but I can smell the food. I can feel the warm air. I can feel there's the sand between my toes. I can eat the food and I can taste the actual. This is in the dream. I can taste the food, and I can hear the person that is sat on the table opposite me absolutely talking to me. And I also wake up with the sensations as well. So say if you eat something hot, it's like, oh, that's hot, and it burns. I'll wake up with the burning sensation in my throat. I will, I've got like if I'm drinking a drink or like a cup of coffee, I can taste it in my throat. So that's how vivid my dreams are. So like I said, I don't know if everything that I've been through over the years triggers these dreams. I don't know, but yeah, it's just I don't know. I thought I'd do a little, like a more sort of in-depth chat about some of my experiences, which would sort of explain a bit about my bio, obviously, that I put at the front of it, and it also explains why I do photography and I love wildlife and nature and crafting, because like I said, and that's why I like to share the things that I enjoy, because all of this helps me with the things that I've been through. And I just hope that if anybody out there that is listening to this has felt this way, is feeling this way right now, that maybe hopefully listening to me, knowing that I've been through it myself, will maybe help them a little bit. But yeah, that's just a little chat. I really appreciate everybody, obviously, that is on my channel. Please do subscribe, because it really helps with my channel. And my main goal is to hit the 1,000. That's all. It's not, you know, I'm not worried about becoming monetized or anything like that. But one thing, you know, if anybody is interested, I have thought about maybe doing some sort of t-shirts or something. I don't know, haven't really kind of looked into it that much, but I've thought about doing like a t-shirt. If anybody's interested, I don't know if they are. I know a lot of channels do it, but you know, I've just thought about it. I haven't sort of even kind of, you know, considered like looking into it properly at the moment. But yeah, that's like I said, that's a little bit more about me and what I've been through. I said, if there is anybody out there who is going through this, I can relate. I know how difficult it is. I know how hard it is. Maybe at some later date, maybe I can do just some, I don't know, maybe an advice chat or something. I don't know. I'll have to sort of look into that. But for now, please subscribe and click that like, please. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care now. Bye. Love ya.